Welcome everybody to Geek Boots, Military Nerds. Here at Geek Boots, we'll tell you all about the big green weenie and how it likes to continue to fuck us. Like when you're so close to getting the uniform right on a TV show, and then two different ranks show up on the uniform, but nobody cares about it but us.
I probably should, but I don't pay attention to the ranks.
Low-key.
In TV shows.
Wait, Loki came out?
You're funny.
Low-key.
Low-key.
Yes, Loki.
Anyway, I need to. No, when that clip flashed by, all I paid attention to was the hat, because it was focused on his face, and I thought, oh, it's a past photo. That's fascinating. And then it wasn't until I believe Portraits of Cosplay, our dear friend Alan, pointed it out and sent it to me, if I remember correctly, and I went, wait. He's got the commander rank on his chest, but he's got the lieutenant rank on his hat.
He's got captain.
Yeah, captain on his chest.
You said commander. You said commander, and that's a
black
rank in the Navy.
Two black bars on his chest, one black bar on his hat, and I'm just like,
why's it gotta be black?
You know what? Right now, that's a little too soon. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the same time, because humor is how I cope with things. So go fuck yourselves. Not you guys. To. Listen to. I mean, you know. I mean,
I'm the only one in this group that doesn't have a significant other and hasn't for quite a while. So
I'll come over.
There you go.
I mean, I didn't plan on having
beard to beard. I didn't plan. That's usually how these things go.
That's exactly how they go.
Especially the best relationships. Anyway, welcome to Geek Boots. Shout outs, obviously. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I normally get updates. I didn't get any. I put out the question on Patreon, but it got no responses, and that's fine. It is what it is. They weren't checking. However, big love to our patrons.
You should, there's two of them. You could have just messaged them personally.
I could have, but I don't have work, so it was easier to just use the platform. Sean,
I mean, if we had 52 of them, I'd understand, but
sure.
52 is a very specific number.
It's always the number I use.
Is there something you're hiding from us?
You know what she's hiding from us? The fact she won't let me talk about the two amazing people that are supporting us on Patreon.
No, I just want to talk. I just want to include them more. We should do a.
It's her foot OnlyFans number. Only feet.
Only feet.
Gen feet. Ooh.
And she still is able to use the acronym of OF. Anyway, Sean and Guts, much love to you both. Finally got that out there. Thank you guys.
We should add them into a Facebook chat with all of us now, since there's not that many of them.
There's not that many of them. Maybe. Yeah. As long as it's not super chaotic and hectic, I can see it going down.
It's like you can mute it if it gets really.
No, there's sometimes I want to mute the person so they stop messaging so many times with random memes when I put out an important question, and then it gets bogged down by countless memes. Hey, what's the email and password to the Instagram? I'm not scrolling up. It's not my fault. You guys bog it down with memes. You scroll up. You find it for yourself.
Are you supposed to email that to us? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, no, he put it in the chat.
You sent me an email that apparently was not cohesive with Google, and I could not share the information with you. Single Dad, on the other hand.
I could have given you my Google email then. It's just bogged down with a lot of things.
You mean Gmail?
I sent that response in the chat going, did you mean to send the wrong email? I got no response.
No, that's the email that I want for personal things, because less junk in it.
Yes.
My Gmail one is the one that I sign up for everything and their mother online.
Make sure you support your local comic book shops. Mine is Mill Geeks Comics. here in Western Washington, Pacific Northwest. Single Dad, your comic shop. I can't tell if he froze or if he's really committed to that.
No, it didn't freeze.
Oh my God, you're really good at that. Fuck.
That was awesome.
Right.
I know. At first, I was like, "Oh, he's just being silly." What?
Definitely check out YouTube. It was awesome.
Yes, NDA Comics and Collectibles here in beautiful Ventura, California.
Cosplay Genemy.
Let's see. I don't know what I want to shout out today. I should probably do this before I get on and go FuGuGiles around. I don't know what word that was. I could not come up with a word, so I think I just mixed
FuGuGiles
together.
The FuGuGiles band or the Goo Goo Dolls?
That, you guys, is my spoonerism of the day.
You know what? If you run out of spoons, during the day, yeah, go with a spork. Then you can stab people with it.
They're still spoons, but a little stabby.
Yeah.
There you go.
You get that extra burst of energy to help a friend out.
I got nothing for today. I'm sorry. I'll look later.
Well, this week's episode, we are finally diving into Justice League Snyder Cut. Well deserved, much needed.
I totally forgot what we were doing today. Hi, I'm alive.
And much like the original Justice League, this is shit. It is all over the place. But hopefully, like the Snyder Cut, we'll revive it and it'll come back stronger. Probably not. It's a Geek Boots episode. We derail so fucking hard all the fucking time.
I'm in a really weird mood tonight.
Yeah, I am too. I need coffee. Okay, Snyder Cut. Did you see it?
Yes.
Yes. All right. First question's down. Let's move on to the next question.
I'm trying to not derail you right now.
You're doing a great job, but it's also awkward quiet too. Like it's like there's this weird blend.
Do you want me to talk or do you not want me to talk?
I don't
You can't,
know.
There's no in between. All right? The pendulum goes this way, and then it goes this way. You want to talk
It's so
or do you want
true.
me to talk?
Fucking right.
It's
Jesus
so
Christ.
true.
All right, Snyder Cut. Is it worth the 4 hours? Single Dad.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
So yes, no, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yes, it's definitely worth the 4 hours. The changes that were made and everything, the bits that were taken out, Wonder Woman's ass, and the things that were added in, everything with Ray and with Cyborg. I heard so many people talk about how they weren't going to watch it because it's just a 4-hour extended cut of the same movie. It's like, no, it's not. It is a completely different movie.
Yeah. Cosplay Genemy, was it worth the 4 hours?
Nothing is worth 4 hours. Nothing.
Sex is.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
I was also
there.
gonna say there's quite a number. This also gets me. This meme popped up of people going 4 hours. I can't sit through that. Meanwhile, binge watches Falcon and Winter Soldier in order
I can
to catch
binge
up.
watch things,
And they just
but I
watch
get
it all
up
at
a
once.
lot. I can binge watch things, but I get up a lot. I move a lot. I am constantly walking back and forth between my living room and my kitchen. I go upstairs. I'll come back downstairs. I don't sit still. I don't know if you guys ever notice me when I'm like sitting here, even like going to the movies is like a prep of an experience that I have to like get in the mindset for, because I don't like to sit still that long in one spot. And so a 4-hour movie is ridiculous. Like there was a bunch of times where I was like, oh my God, is this still going on? I really liked the last hour, but that's really where I finally got focused.
Like bad sex.
God.
Oh my God, is this still going on?
But sex is not sitting still.
Bad sex.
I was going to say, if it's going on for 4 hours, you are not sitting still or in the same spot, and possibly not even in the same room. So
That's the goal.
So again, I do not sit still for
Or the same car even.
That's true too.
Or the same state. I mean that.
I've never done that. I've never crossed state lines in one session.
Oh, you're not doing it right then.
Bucket list.
I know,
Hello?
right? Now you have put something in my brain, though. Something.
Mile High
That's what
Club
she
makes
said.
that very easy to knock out two
I
things in
live a
one
mile
setting.
high. I live in the Mile High Club.
Well, then you're fucking up. I don't know what to tell you. No, yeah.
But anyways, it's not that it was a bad movie. It's not that I wouldn't recommend it. I cannot do a 4-hour movie. Star Wars getting into the 3-ish hours was hard enough. But
and Endgame.
what?
Avengers Endgame being long as fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah, an Endgame, yeah. That was also
Lord of the Rings.
that was so hard. Well, I've never watched Lord of the Rings like in like
Oh,
all
thank God.
together.
I was about to be like, you're kicked out. You've never watched Lord of the Rings?
True story
Stop
though, I
the
didn't watch
show.
Lord of the Rings
That's
until
what we're doing.
True story though, I didn't watch Lord of the Rings until 2 years ago, by the way.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I don't know. It wasn't like it was one of those things that came out. I've talked about my non-nerd days where I was pretending to not be a nerd. It came in that time frame. Technically, I did watch Two Towers in theater at the midnight showing because I let people talk me into things for some reason.
Right.
Back when they actually had midnight showings and they actually started at midnight.
Yeah, those were the days, weren't they? I appreciated those days.
That was the only movie I had seen, though.
I saw
Coming in the middle of
Pirates of the Caribbean on a midnight showing, and it was the first time doing a midnight showing, and the audience was kind of dead tired already during previews. Transformers comes up, and you just hear this one guy in the back go, "Woo!" And then the other trailer pops up that's for another movie, and the whole crowd goes wild. About 10 seconds into the dead silence, you hear the guy go, "Sorry, I let all my woo out during that last trailer." It was just fucking hysterical.
You know,
To that
at least
guy,
he got
if you
the-
ever find this YouTube, this podcast, and we're talking about you, I want to say thank you for livening up the room. But
That's always good.
yes, 4 hours. I mean, I didn't mind it. I loved Snyder Cut so much. If you were to put the two movies, Avengers Endgame and Justice League Snyder Cut, in my face and say you have to watch one, I'm gonna pick Snyder Cut. It was really well done. I really liked it. On top of that, it's a completely different movie from all the Avengers stuff, so it feels more refreshing, I guess.
Well, it's definitely a different style. It's a different
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah, because it didn't have Joss Whedon.
of course.
Accurate. Very accurate.
But I'm still gonna go Marvel before DC almost any time, unless it's the villains.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciated the 4 hours. What I also appreciated was those little moments where they cut to black, give you a title card. It gives you a moment to pause if necessary. And even though we didn't, it gave us a couple of seconds to chew down what we watched in that whole length of time. And it was really nice because Ruby Echo and I were watching it, and those were those moments where we just sat there and went, "Oh my God," and digest it, talked about what we just got done seeing. She's not a huge DC nerd, so there were a lot of moments where she's asking questions, and those were those times where I'm like, okay, this is why this makes sense pertaining to the comic books. And she's like, "Oh, that makes more sense now." I go, "Right," and then her next comment would be, "That makes way more sense than the Joss Whedon cut now too." And I'm like, right.
Even just the opening credits. Starting off Justice League, it started off with like the homage to a dead Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And the Snyder Cut, shows Superman being killed and what the repercussions of Superman dying on Earth, what that means throughout everywhere.
Yeah.
Because that basically the call went out, and so we understand why when we hear Luther saying you can't unring that bell, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
And all these different the Nightmare Batman sequence makes sense now. So, and we'll talk about that in a minute because obviously, I mean, they went back to that in the final credits. So, I mean, it's even just the setup of the movie is completely different.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that it wasn't like a Superman's wet dream by the end.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't like Superman. First of all, let me just throw this out there. I'm not a Superman fan, to my boyfriend's chagrin, because it's his favorite. But I am not a fan of Superman. And I really never have been. Like, he's too much of overpowered, and it's just, he irritates me.
And yet you love Captain Marvel.
Shazam. Wait, what?
But
This is a big but.
I enjoyed him better in this movie than I did the original.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Well, this was supposed.
He was
keep saying
down. Yeah,
right.
I know.
I consider this the original.
This one is definitely. I wish they would have shortened it a little bit. There was a little bit. There was quite a few times where I kind of got really bored and spaced out a little bit.
That's fine.
And the whole like the one thing that you said you liked with all the parts, I was like, it got to be a joke with me and my boyfriend because he's who I watched it with, and we and him would look at each other. I was like, "Yay, part 552! Are you done yet?"
But that's the thing is, I mean, I really enjoyed that they broke it up into chapters because if you wanted to, you could pause it right there.
You could
go get a drink, go use the restroom, get a snack,
save it for a next day.
Exactly.
Which I probably should have, but again, he's the DC fan.
Sure.
So he did talk through it a lot, and he had like excitement moments. So I got to see it, and it was really fun to watch him watch it. Like I enjoyed watching him watch it more than I enjoyed watching it myself.
So you enjoy watching him.
That's what I got out of that.
Got it. I hope he enjoys watching you as well. And you guys do it from like opposite corners.
Do you enjoy watching him?
You know it's COVID, right? COVID safe.
I'm pretty sure he's in your bubble. I mean, if he's been in other things, he's in your bubble.
Do you also plan on watching him with other people?
No, I don't share. Joey, don't share food.
So given the context, that means she's never allowing another person to watch a movie with them. It has to be just them.
I told you I was weird food today.
Oh, man. Anywho.
This is the scary episode of Jenny.
Yes. It's all right. We already got the title thanks to Jen. But that's like every other episode.
Not every episode. Just 92%. What's next?
Are the original takes from Zack better? Like, case in point, meeting Arthur. The mother boxes on the walls. Why would a small village know this? That kind of thing. Was Zack Snyder's vision better than Joss Whedon's?
Of course it was.
Barely any time at all taken on that. Like,
sorry. I couldn't I can't tell you like scene to scene connections because of course I watched Joss Whedon's once and I've seen Snyder Cuts once and they were like 400 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't do the whole like scene to scene to tell you exactly which things that were different. I did notice the whole Wonder Woman thing when she jumped out of the airplane and she didn't jump. She jumped out of the airplane from the side and it was kind of neat. I was like, wait, that scene I recognize.
And well, the same thing with the scene in the bank too. The way that Whedon framed it. I mean, literally, you've got the bad guys in the background, but you've got one Gal Gadot's ass, literally, right there, like
and
framed.
Shot through her legs. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, why the fuck are you doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, and then we find out, he's a total misogynist pig. But hey, you know what? I mean, apparently Warner Brothers trusted him.
I feel like back in like the 90s, like the early 90s, he was like ahead of his time. but then he stopped, and then the world like way past him.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he was like, I'm already there. I'm already
let's-
here. And then
no,
like
no, I'm not
I
gonna say that.
know there's not I know now. I'm saying in movies, not necessarily not in personal life.
Well, I was gonna say because even on like the set of Buffy, he wasn't allowed in like some of the actors' rooms.
Well, that's why I say not personal life.
Right.
I'm talking about in how he filmed in movies.
Right.
He portrayed.
Back then, he was actually trying to
Professional.
show that he was a decent human being without being a decent human being. He was trying to make up for the fact that he actually felt bad about like
What
who he was.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a Buffy and Angel comic book where Buffy and Angel are having such hardcore sex that they're flying all over the world and breaking up mountains. Joss,
Good for them.
what in the ever-loving fuck?
I mean, they technically had an episode almost like that too. So
Well, like, no, like I was like, I want to read these comic books. Let me dive into these. And one of the comic book pages that'll be burned into my brain forever is Buffy and Angel having sex, and they're flying. They're not not leaping tall mountains. No, they're flying, and they go through a mountaintop, and it shatters into a bunch of rock pieces as they're having sex. And I'm just like,
how do you not notice that?
what? Joss, what are you... Speaking of Joss, what were you thinking? What was the point of the reshooting with Henry Cavill? Did we need it?
He felt that we did, and for the story, for his take on the story to make sense, it needed to happen.
Yeah.
I don't believe it did. Along with literally turning Cyborg and Flash into comedic relief. He desecrated both of those characters in his take. It turned them into buffoons. And Snyder said that, and before his cut came out, he had said that Cyborg was the heart and soul of Justice League. We now see where Whedon took that and completely destroyed everything about Cyborg's character, for his own reasonings. I'm not gonna. Well, I've been speculating some, but yeah, no, he destroyed the character. But Cyborg in the Snyder Cut was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Really good.
Some of the scenes were the same, where Bruce Wayne goes to connect with Flash. That was the same. Why? Because it was Snyder's original vision, and Whedon decided to keep it in. But then it kept going. You didn't have this the race between Flash and Superman to see who's faster. You don't have Cyborg saying "booyah," which I absolutely love because I've got kids and they watch Teen Titans, like all versions of Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go is one of their favorite movies, just because they know all the voices across the Teen Titans universe are the same.
Yeah.
The same people do the voices for all the different iterations, so they love that.
Yeah, we have Titans Go a lot.
But Cyborg is a deep character. Cyborg's a very deep character, and so is Flash, especially with his relationship with his dad and everything like that. And so
they
turning
dug
them
into the Flash a lot more.
Right.
But I don't hate how the Flash was done.
Right. Well, and they totally took out the entire like Russian family that was living by the reactor. That entire story arc was gone.
Yeah.
Like pushing them out of the way and Das Vidanya. Are you fucking kidding me?
I am so thankful that whole entire thing is gone and just eradicated, because while there's this element of me where I go, I understand, but at the same time, it was so scattered and sporadic. That's the thing that I hated the most. Superman comes in, fights Steppenwolf for a little bit. Hey, there's people. Comes
Literally,
back, fights him a little bit, goes off and do it again. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
All it was a MacGuffin plot device for Whedon to create more tension, because if there is a human element there that he can tie you to and create like an emotional attachment to these civilians that are just living there. They're hard on their luck. They have no place else to live, so they have to move by a literal melting down nuclear reactor in the middle of Russia. So he's gonna tie your emotions to them, and then you're going to appreciate when they get saved, whether by Superman, the hero, or by Flash, the buffoon, and they're going to make quips about it, because that's Whedon's style, is the one-liners, the quips.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of Flash too, though. He's kind of a one-liner. Okay, so let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I liked the way he envisioned Flash.
Okay.
And
I'm putting my mic up so I don't interrupt.
I don't get a lot of people who agree
Anymore.
with me, but
Anymore.
but I don't care.
Okay, that was last time.
I deserve that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
You deserve so much more.
the way I see the way I like the way he sees Flash, and the way I've kind of always seen Flash in comic books, is the way he talks and the way that he thinks of things. His mind is going just as fast as his brain, so he tends to appear very autistic.
Wait, what? His mind is going as fast as his brain.
Yeah, I meant his body.
I know.
Sorry.
I know exactly what you meant.
But again, my brain does that too.
Because you're doing the Flash thing right now.
Exactly.
Did you Flash thingy me? Did you Flash
I
thingy me?
did. And this is why I love the Flash. Okay, I don't like a lot of DC characters, but I love the Flash in the comic books, because I do see him as somebody who speaks and thinks and moves, and his brain goes just as fast as the rest of his body. And so he tends to appear as more of like an autistic child or an autistic kid, and nobody else can kind of keep up with where he's going and what he's thinking. He's already down 3 or 4 tracks before, and I've never seen it captured in a movie before. Normally he comes off as being slower. His brain seems slower. They always make him smart, but he tends to talk down to people in movies. And not necessarily and he doesn't do that in the comics. And so that's kind of the reason why I liked, because I could see that. I saw his brain moving in a lot of different scenes. Like I could
Ezra, yeah, Ezra did a masterful job with that.
He did,
character.
and he Yeah, he's definitely become my favorite Flash ever, and people will fight me on this.
Isn't that just the most hilarious thing in the world about, and this is an interesting tie-in to things that I'm salty about, because I've been salty about this since, the dawn of the DC entertainment universe. I mean, how the MCU superfans like to gatekeep and dictate how comic book movies are, but they'll comment on things like that. Like, you'll sit there and you'll say, you could post, "This is my favorite Flash," and someone will then comment on it, goes, "What about this Flash? You're wrong." And it's like, no, this is my opinion.
This is my
which
opinion.
one is mine? You could like yours and go fuck yourself.
I really liked the TV show Flash, but he didn't embody the mental aspect of it that I see Flash having. He was very...
I like the first couple of seasons
Kid.
of The Flash before it started getting a little too darker toned for me, but that happened to almost every one of the CW's superhero shows. I mean,
The Flash didn't like. I mean, I haven't seen. I don't think the last season, but the Flash didn't do it to me as bad. Like Arrow, like I got tired of Arrow. Real fast.
God, it was so annoying that they were in Hall H, and finally someone asked the question. This was during the Damien Dark season was about to start, and this kid comes up and he goes, "So I'm really a big fan of the comic books for Arrow. Will Green Arrow finally start doing more quips and be more funny like he is in the comics in the show Arrow?" And Stephen Amell, love him to death, but he lied because he didn't know, because he didn't see the scripts in front of him. He goes, "Oh yeah, we plan on bringing a little more humor into the show." That season was the darkest season they had, and then it just kept going from there. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Like I would watch.
I loved that season. Don't get me
I would
wrong,
watch like the crossover ones, and like I feel like I would catch up in the crossover of what had happened and everyone's like backstories. I'm like, okay, because I still felt connected to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. That's all I need of them. Back to
going back to Flash, I want to say I was very appreciative that they had Iris in there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
I wasn't expecting that. They showed more of
Flash's humanity. Showed him trying to get a job.
I know. That was the cutest little scene. That was like my favorite.
But if you know anything about Flash and everything like that, go back and watch, and if you know anything about Flash and you're listening right now, look at the Easter egg of the hot dogs. If you don't know what the Easter egg is, I'll let you learn about it yourself, but think of Flash and hot dogs. That's all I'm going to say. And enjoy.
God, no, I can't comment.
Why not? Why not?
I was like, I'm sorry, I went on a Flash tangent.
No, it's okay. I mean, I bring up wieners and Tom Cruise gets like flabbergasted.
It's good to get on this because these two characters mostly got a lot more love and appreciation in the Snyder cut than we did in the Joss Whedon cut. And just overall better context. Like there's certain scenes that you like Single Dad had pointed out about how certain scenes stayed and then just certain things got changed. And out of the previous question that I had asked about, like case in point, like what I noticed was, putting the hieroglyphics on the walls about the mother boxes at that village for Aquaman. And I'm kind of like, what? And the reason why this was confusing was because they kept the scene in there when they attempted to do the war eons ago or whatever that we originally had against Steppenwolf, not Darkseid. And Bruce Wayne is sitting there going, what the heck is a mother box? Meanwhile, he's freaking at Aquaman's village talking about this war coming, and I'm like, wait, so you at first you sound like you know what the hell is coming, and now all of a sudden, flash forward, now you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's the thing is, like, in Whedon's in Justice League, Whedon just all summed it up in a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Wayne had a dream. It's like, oh my God, the world's going to be destroyed. Superman's going to go bad. We have Darkseid, but we don't have Darkseid. And it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So,
and just overall better context in this film that helped fill out certain answers, questions, and just made it seem so not so shoddy. And it's important because these characters deserve the love, because we know Batman really well, we know Superman really well, we know Wonder Woman, and Aquaman got his film. So there's a lot of context for certain characters, not a lot of context for others. So whether you're a MCU super fan who doesn't know a single thing about DC Comics, your prerogative, or just some people that don't actually read the comic books, they don't know what they're getting into necessarily. And I kind of feel like Joss Whedon watched too much Teen Titans. That's why he wanted Cyborg to say "booyah" because it was a callback to all of that. And while that's fine and dandy, there's more depth to Cyborg. There's more depth to the Flash in this movie, and I thought it did an amazing job. And even though it was, oh, you know what? I'll just say this: Bruce Wayne / Batman, he got more depth in this movie too.
Right?
I mean,
Yes.
So did Alfred.
yeah, because like,
I mean, holy shit.
so it was there, but you had to be paying attention to it. So in the original Joss Whedon cut, one of the things that bothered so many people was this whole notion that why didn't Bruce Wayne help out Martha from the get-go? And this movie, to an extent, answered that in a lot of ways, because it really shows that, well, that's because Bruce was busy, like hardcore. He was distracted. And then on top of that, I think there was a comment somewhere down along the lines of, well, Martha wasn't telling anybody what was going on with her because of her pride. She didn't say anything because she didn't want anybody to know or worry about her. She'd rather just handle it herself. So no one was on top of it because she didn't ask for help. That context helped that ending of Joss Whedon's, where he's like, thank you for helping out, blah, blah, and people are like, wouldn't you help out from the beginning? She didn't ask, and no, everyone was kind of focused. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a thought. So, and then Superman, for as short a time that he got in this film, he too got a lot of more context in this.
It's amazing what a good director can do with the depth of character in a few scenes, instead of trying to gloss over and tell this like huge story and try to fill all this. He actually did it with writing and nuance, and the characters were able to portray the actors were able to portray the characters in a lot better way.
Yeah. Hell, even Aquaman got more context, whether it was character development or just simple answering the question of, so where the fuck does he get the armor and his mom trident from? I don't understand.
Right?
Like, seriously. Like, excuse the fact that there are certain things that stuck with Snyder's cut about the visual, whether all of a sudden Amber Heard's British. They still use the bubbles in order to speak underwater, things like that. You know, putting aside that, yeah, Arthur had way better context in this movie than the Joss Whedon cut, in my honest opinion. Wonder Woman had better context. The storyline overall, and that's why it was so much nicer to see more Flash and more Cyborg.
And that's, thank you for saying that, because I want to go back and I want to talk about Cyborg some more.
Yes,
the relationship with him and his father.
That was sweet.
I mean, in Whedon, it was like he rescued his father and his father was helpful and everything like that. In the Snyder Cut, we actually see the love, the devotion that the father has to the son. Mm-hmm. The son is trying to reject everything that he's doing, and he's mad and he's hurt and he's upset, and he doesn't know where he fits in the world. And the father is just trying to say, you know what, I saved your life, I did everything but then when we see him sacrifice himself for his son and sacrifice himself, and to be able to say, you know what, this is for you. And then we find out later that it was to actually save humanity. It shows that love, because all throughout the movie, Cyborg is rejecting everything his father does because he is upset. He's pissed off. He wants to be dead.
Yeah,
he should have died. He's pissed off about his mom. He's pissed off about himself living. He's pissed off about his dad bringing him back. But then we see everything. We see that light just click, and the humanity of Cyborg coming through. And so he recognizes the fact that, like, his father sacrifices himself, and if it wasn't for his dad's love and sacrifice, that he wouldn't be who he was, or he wouldn't be able to do what he did.
Yep. Adding on to all that, again, continuing on with conversations and context, we got to see both.
Go ahead and
Cyborg
piggyback off of that, if you will.
To be fair.
To be fair.
No, I also love the fact that we get to see a lot more of their superpowers in play in this movie. Like, holy shit! Whether it was from Cyborg just literally looking at an ATM, accessing it wirelessly, and giving that woman, what was it, $10,000 all of a sudden or something like that, and then just
I think it was like 100,000, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, she deserved it. She's working all of a sudden. She's like, I don't know if I'm gonna have money for rent. Now you do.
Now you do, bitch.
Oh my god, that was so fucking amazing.
It showed like he started learning what he could do.
Yeah.
And he understood that power. Like he could change the entire world.
Yeah.
I mean, and he could be the ultimate villain. He could be Ultron.
He could be, but he's better than Ultron in so many ways. And I think, like, piggybacking off of what you said, the human element of Cyborg is what helps that out.
Which we see with that scene with his mom when he's in the principal's office because he hacked the school computer to give his buddies better grades. Not himself. He's not trying to help himself.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like he doesn't do anything selfishly. It is for somebody else. He's got a good heart.
Yeah.
So like Zach said, he is the heart and soul of the movie. And without him, it wouldn't work.
And then again, with this topic, the Flash, we get to see him turn back time a little bit. We get to see him use the Speed Force, and we get to see the real big reason why the Flash is outside as opposed to being inside fighting Steppenwolf. Because without him being out there gaining that speed and then going, oh shit, I know what's going on, I know what I need to do, it wouldn't have worked. And it was perfect in my opinion. And honestly,
I like how it kind of had more of a group effort in it.
It was a team.
It was a team
effort. It wasn't everybody holding off Steppenwolf until Superman arrived and saved the day.
Saved the day. Yeah.
No, it was a team effort.
There was an actual plan in motion, and for the most part, it was working until they effectively underestimated Steppenwolf as a whole, and they started that fight. But then they were saved by Superman showing up. But there was a plan in motion, and it showed up at the right moment because they were about to be good.
Well, that's like what Batman specializes in is plans.
Yep. Give him enough prep time, he can do just about anything.
And so it's
that's why he left Alfred to tell Superman what was up, and why that scene from the trailer and that little YouTube clip that they put out finally got put in, because it's from the Snyder Cut. And I fucking absolutely love that Superman shows up and people are like, well, it's Superman, wouldn't he be able to hear, sense, or blah blah blah? I'm like, no, not really. He's not completely at full power.
Yeah.
Right.
So he had to with Alfred, and then but anyway,
he can. But that's the thing, is like he had to learn that from a young age to tune everything else out to be able to hear certain things. Exactly. One of my favorite lines from the movie, and it was, people say it was a throwaway line, but it was one of my favorite lines, and it showed we keep talking about depth of character. It showed the relationship between Alfred. It showed the relation Alfred and Bruce Wayne, and it showed like absolute humility. Is like when Bruce Wayne introduces Alfred, he's like, yeah, this is Alfred. I work for him. That was my favorite line of this movie. And like everything else, that one sticks out and is like, holy shit. Like, he's your butler. He's been like your quote unquote personal manservant since you were a child. He worked with your parents, but now you're saying you work for him. That just shows so much of who he thinks about in his life.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, he's rich, he's Batman. You know what? Who fuck cares? I work for him.
I mean, humility Bruce Wayne could have sent Jason Todd to prison for fucking up with the Batmobile. Instead, he saw a spark in Jason Todd and said, hey, I'm going to take this orphan, this kid on the street, put him underneath my wing, and I'm going to make him Robin. And Jason Todd absolutely loved it. He's like, I get to work with Batman! Go on. You're holding it in. Go.
I am, and I will only say this. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I have to. I'll share with the group. But there was a fan art that somebody did with 5 from the Umbrella Academy as Damien.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh God, yes.
That would be dope.
I
It
have not seen
fucking
that.
works.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Work. He's the right height for it and everything.
He's the right height, the right age, and
right
I mean,
look.
he's just smarmy and got the attitude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be perfect. They need to do that soon before he gets too old and too tall.
No.
Yeah, absolutely loved Snyder Cut. Everything about it. It was my favorite hype up movie. I think what's sad next now is that because of the success of the trend and the hashtag of release the Snyder Cut, right? Now people are trying to push for the
Snyderverse.
The Snyderverse, right? And it's really sad because it's not going to happen. Snyder said it point blank in an interview that the struggle, the stress, and the drama working with Warner Bros., working with fans who sat there and gave him so much hate for the films and vision he was trying to project, he's done. This will be his last project and he's stepping away from all of it. And that really sucks because, in all honesty, now, since watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League, I want more. I do. I want to know what's going to happen next, but we won't because Warner Brothers would probably attempt to revitalize it and fuck it up all over again. But it's not going to happen. So that just sucks. I wish it could happen though. Yeah, overall closing thoughts on Justice League.
It was a movie that was DC, and I didn't hate it.
Thank you, Marvel. Single dad.
I enjoyed it immensely. Just knowing the lore, knowing all the different aspects of DC that went into this movie, knowing the reason behind the movie and why Snyder left and why he felt he needed to come back. This one was for the fans. Literally, this one was just for the fans. So I appreciate that. So thank you very much, Snyder, for going against Warner Brothers' wishes when they told you to don't shoot any more scenes, and you said fuck you, and you shot the scenes that you wanted to make the movie you needed to.
And thank you, HBO Max, for helping fund that, by the way. Holy fuck. Man, in all honesty,
Speaking of, I cannot wait for Friday. Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
I also gotta say that I think about this and I go, there realistically is only a few times really throughout cinema history where you can say that the fans speaking up, wanting, demanding what they would like to see coming to fruition happened so few. I mean, the last time wasn't exactly the best movie, but thank God the fans spoke up about Sonic because that would have been scary as shit to look at.
That would have been horrible.
That would have been fucking a nightmare. And Snyder Cut. I mean, enough hashtags got out there. The fuel came through. Snyder saw the love and said, okay, I can do it. But, I don't know how. Somehow they made a deal with HBO Max. They funded the whole entire thing. They brought everybody back to shoot the things he wanted to shoot. They gave him the ability to go back and bring in the things he had already filmed, put it all together in an amazing, beautiful bow.
I think the fact that the condition on which he left the project under is the reason that the talent agreed to return. They knew why he left.
Speaking of, I absolutely loved certain things on social media. So the actor who plays Cyborg, Jason Momoa, and Henry Cavill
Ray Fisher.
Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa, and Henry Cavill all posted on their social media platforms. So Jason Momoa had a YouTube video. Ray Fisher went to Twitter, and Henry Cavill went to Instagram, and they all posted either a photo or a video of some form, some shape or form, and the caption essentially just read, you as the fan base have no idea the treasure it is to work with Zack Snyder. You can hate his movies all you want, but there is nothing more refreshing than a director who knows exactly what he wants to see on camera, and he gets involved. He's on set with you. He's helping guide you through it in the best way humanly possible. I know that Henry Cavill ended his caption saying, "Congratulations to Zack Snyder. You did it. I am so glad the beautiful vision in which you wanted out there finally got out there, because it deserves to be seen." I know Jason Momoa basically did a video where he had a bunch of presents for Zack Snyder, congratulating him on his film, and Ray Fisher did a post as well congratulating the film for getting released. And dog.
Excuse me.
And dogs love it too. So
That's right.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, that's my closing thoughts is thank God the Snyder Cut got released. It's a fantastic film.
Seriously.
This is to key on something someone else does, Jeremy Johns, the way he rates movies. It's either, I'll enjoy it if I have a drink, or hey, this is so worthy, I would own it on Blu-ray, even though it's a digital platform now. This movie, if I don't know if it'll ever do it, but if it ever comes out on Blu-ray, yes, I will own Justice League Snyder Cut on Blu-ray, hands down. It's worth it.
Good.
So, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all of our platforms. We are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean,
Amazon.
Amazon. Your mother's backside.
There you go.
Still waiting for those back
There it
tattoos,
is.
ladies.
Or gentlemen.
That's right.
Sure.
Dudes can get
Look,
tramp stamps too.
that's fine. I just don't want to see them. So I don't want to see those single dad.
I do.
Oh.
And I know that everybody else but you does.
Oh.
No, I'm good. I don't want to
Wow.
see a hairy backside with a tattoo.
Wow.
No, better
Nope.
yet.
They might shave.
That's
Not
what I was
just
gonna
because
type
they're
into.
a man.
No, hold on. I was going to type into that. Not only do I not want to see a hairy backside, I don't want to see a shaved out for tattoo spot on the lower back of a man.
Oh, fuck you. I'm doing it now.
Please do. And then hike your shirts up a little bit, make sure your pants sag down, and then walk around, Ventura, California, and just everybody will look at your backside and go, whoa, what's geek boots?
No. It's Ventura, California. They'll be like, it's fucking sweet.
Yeah, and then they'll go check
That's
out
true.
Geek Boots. So there you go.
There you go.
I fully hope to see you with that tattoo, single dad. Comment with anything you want to see us talk about, or any suggestions about the show that you'd see. And then check us out on Patreon, where you get to help control the show. Also,
Please
sweet
do.
deals like
Yeah.
posters and
You
T-shirts,
get posters. You get shirts.
and stickers and
stuff.
patches.
I don't even have anything. And I work for them.
Used socks from Cosplay's
Patches?
Enemy.
We don't need no stinking patches.
She took a hike, and anyone ever hikes in Colorado, they're nice and sweaty just for you fellas and ladies, and we'll ship them out to you if you sign up for our Patreon. You're gonna run out of socks if that becomes a trend.
All right.
By the
So
way.
we seriously need to go. I smell something burning, and my kids are trying to cook dinner. So
Yes.
I got to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.
Deuces.
Suck a fucking dick, motherfucker. Suck a fucking dick.
Motherfucker!
Suck a fucking dick, motherfucker. Suck a fucking dick.
Motherfucker!